To the One Man Show Network. Welcome to the MMA Fight Picks Podcast with your host, Aaron Weinbaum.
All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the MMA Fight Picks Podcast. I am your host, Aaron Weinbaum. I'm trying something a little different today, so if for some reason the stream's not working, let me know, and I'll probably shut her down. But, yeah, I'm already looking a bit choppy here. That's not good. All right, you know what? We're gonna give it a shot anyways. God forbid this video doesn't come out good. I am recording on audio as well. So I had trouble multi-streaming all the time because of my upload speed at home. So I found a spot in my house where my phone works okay. But the problem is I had to have an antenna built into the house so I even get phone reception. So I am going off my phone's hotspot from a built antenna into the house. But I do see I have some viewers, so cool. I don't know where you're all from. Feel free to say hi. I'm going to just make this a real quick one here. I'm only going to pick two fights tonight, and that is Eric Anders and Antonio Arroyo and Paul Felder, Rafael dos Anjos. So just real quick on this fight, I was very surprised. Islam Makhachev had to pull out. I don't know why, and if someone does know, please tell me, but I don't know why he did pull out. I don't think it's COVID related, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was. So yeah, if anyone knows, let me know. But I did forget to do something here. Aha, here we go. So I had to look up Antonio Arroyo. So I'm not picking very many fights. Number one, because I'm rushing to do this podcast. And number two, because I don't really know these guys, and I'm not going to pretend like I do. And usually, there's a line in if I know some of the guys they fought, and I don't even know that. So I'm just gonna kind of do it that way. What's up, Beanick? Oh, it's cool. It's working. I didn't realize I was on Facebook. So, whoops. Cool. What's up? Jeff Beanick says, hello from Botswana. I don't know what that is. Botswana? What is that, Jeff? You got to tell me, dude. If you got any thoughts on the fights, let me know, too. So Jeff always says he wants to come on the podcast, and then he changes his phone numbers or he loses my contact information. So, it's going on for 30 years, Jeff? Pretty close? I think so. So let's take a look first. Let's look at Eric Anders, Antonio Arroyo. This is taking place at middleweight. Anders is no joke, man. I like him a lot. So he did just lose to Christoph Jocko, by decision. For that, two good wins in a row here. Split decision over GM3, Gerald Morshart, and then win over Vinicius Moraes. But then he had a bit of a losing streak here, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about that. The first fight he lost was Thiago Santos, but Jeff's just messing with me. It's a country in Africa, but he's not really there. So, very funny. Very funny. Number is still the same. All right, Jeff, I'll call you, and we'll see if you pick up, my brother. The first fight was a short notice fight I did not like against Thiago Santos because he had just fought at middleweight less than a month before. Thiago Santos was burgeoning here at light heavyweight. So really, Anders just barely had time to, gain a little weight for that fight. And then he loses a split decision to Elias Theodoro. This is way back in 2018. Then he loses to Khalil Roundtree Jr. before bouncing back with two wins, June and October of last year. So, fast forward to May this year, and he loses to Jocko. Now, Arroyo I've not heard of really either, but I did have to – I can't not go over an Eric Anders fight because I'm a fan, and he likes the Ally Quinto Realty account. So he had his first loss here. No, he's lost before, but he's a Dana White Tuesday Night Contender Series guy. I totally missed that last night, by the way. That sucks. Yeah, so let's just go to that. So he doesn't get the contract with his first fight. He beats Diego Henrique da Silva. He beats Steven Regman, and then it gets him into the show. So he has from July of last year to November. So he hasn't fought in over a year. He loses to Andre Muniz by decision. It's hard for me to pick against Eric Anders. He's been in the UFC before. Everyone loses to Roundtree. That's right. But I got to go Eric Anders here for sure. So next up, the main event of the evening. This is, like I said, a surprise. Paul Felder, Rafael dos Anjos. Dos Anjos returning to 155 pounds because he had trouble making the weight there. And then Felder, just a 5-day notice replacement because Islam Makhachev, who's a stud, had to move out, or pull out rather, and this would have really been, for him, a real title contention type of fight for him. Like, he would have been right there against a formal title challenger in Rafael dos Anjos, and former champion even, a former lightweight champion. And, Chael Sonnen said it best that everyone's career to a title shot is beating Dos Anjos. So it was like that in the welterweight division for sure. I'm going to take a look here at his last few fights. Did not go his way here. Rafael dos Anjos, that is. And this kind of led to his return because he's a really big lightweight, but not a very big welterweight. So, I mean, he lost to Michael Chiesa, lost to Leon Edwards. Both fights he didn't have to take. Both these guys are climbers in the division. But, Bieniek thinks Dos Anjos is on a tear. I don't know, man. He did lose 2 in a row. But he did beat Kevin Lee. And that was at welterweight as well. He submitted him because Kevin Lee just basically gassed out trying to take him down. Lost, but the people he lost to are the best in the division, besides Chiesa maybe. Leon Edwards, Kamaru Usman, Colby Covington, we're talking 1, 2, 3 in the division here. Did have a win over Robbie Lawler in a fight I thought he would lose. Oh, I forget he submitted Neil Magny. So when was the last time he fought? Yeah, so the last time he fought at lightweight was 2016. So it's been a minute, man. That's crazy. And those fights are what caused him to go to welterweight. So Tony Ferguson, Eddie Alvarez, but before that, nothing but wins, man. And that's all in the lightweight division. His only loss before that was Khabib back in 2014. Let's take a look at the names he's beaten here. Knocks out Ben Henderson. Decisions Nate Diaz. I believe Nate missed weight by like 5 pounds. Crazy. Beats Pettis by decision. Back when Pettis was no joke. Also in 2015. Knocks out Donald Cerrone. I think that was sick. I think it was like a liver punch. I can't remember. And he had actually defended the lightweight title that night. So he loses to Eddie Alvarez by TKO, loses by decision to Ferguson, and then that prompts him to go to welterweight. And now here he is coming back down to face Paul Felder. Now, I don't know how this weight cut is going to go for Dos Anjos. But at the same time, I don't know how this fight's going to go this weight cut's going to go for Paul Felder. I was very surprised. Like, the guy walks around like 200-something pounds. It's not easy for him to make weight, but he says he's right there within striking distance, like in the I guess one of the lower 180s, which if that's striking distance, I don't know, man. I'm not a weight cut guy, so it's very interesting to me how that's an easier cut. But I got a little bit of a screen glare there. Anyway, but let's take a look. Oh, and the other thing he says he's running light is apparently he's training for triathlons. He's using the old Diaz trick there, and he's training for a triathlon. So I guess that keeps him lean too. Yeah, I like it how Nate said he was training for a triathlon, and he ends up beating Conor McGregor, and then he said, I was really just drinking on a boat. So we'll see. Paul Felder, probably a little serious here. Split decision against Dan Hooker was his last fight, and I know he has not fought since, and that's February this year. Before that, split decision over Edson Barbosa. That was close. Beats James Vick by decision. I think he had his lung punctured in that fight. Crazy, and he went on in decision James Vick, a very tough James pick. He does have a loss to Mike Perry. That was short notice. Perry broke Felder's arm right off the bat. I remember that fight. Very impressive win. Oliveira is one of those top guys in the lightweight division. TKO's him in 2017. Beat Stevie Ray. I can't think of Stevie Ray without thinking of the Harlem Heat, but not the same Stevie Ray. Okay. Let's see here. I gotta fix something here. My bad. This is gonna bother me. I'm having a little green screen issues here, but feel free to ask me a question if you are so inclined. Oh, there it is. Come on, green screen. Where you at? Oh, perfect. I want to thank my buddy Jeff Binick, by the way. I was giving him some trouble, but very good friend of mine since the 90s, man. We used to work at a grocery store called Kroger. And if he ever does come on the show, we'll have to talk about that because there's a lot to talk about there. And it was probably one of the best times of my life, honestly. Anyway, back to the fight. I don't know. I don't know how well Dos Anjos is going to make the weight, and I don't know, vice versa, how Felder's going to make the weight. But this fight had been rescheduled. Paul Felder is a good announcer, man. And it's just very interesting to me what's going to happen. And I just got to say, I think, Dos Anjos has been training for this fight. I think the weight cut, although not easy for him, will be easier than the weight cut for Paul Felder, who is training for a triathlon. But at the same time, this may be good for Paul Felder. He may come in a little leaner than he usually would, maybe a little faster. But Dos Anjos is going to try to wrestle him, and that is certainly not Paul's strong suit. And he's not been training any wrestling here in the last few weeks if he's been training for a triathlon. So, a few things working against him here. The short notice fight. Dos Anjos has been training. Dos Anjos is a better wrestler. Paul Felder, tough as they come, does not, he will not go out easily. But I got to go with Dos Anjos here, and I don't like picking guys that came off a long layoff between weight divisions, but Rafael Dos Anjos for the win, and that's it. So unless anybody's got anything else, Jeff, thank you for being my super special guest today, my brother, and I'm going to get out of here, because guess where I'm going, Jeff? Rolla High School. I'm taking my kids for wrestling sign-ups, so kids club. Even though they go to school in a neighboring town, they still wrestle youth in Rolla, just better coaching all around. So something you should get back into, Jeff. I'd love to see you coaching some kids, You'd be awesome at it. All right, that's it. Until next time, shalom.
Please remember to support the podcast by visiting the affiliate links on AaronSaysWhat.com.